Okay, so now I get to actually teach you how to do a vision board. And this method was taught to me, and I loved it because it was so clear and clean and simple. And so basically this is the format for the vision board, okay? And this is the same way that the bagua is set up according to Feng Shui. And so if you're familiar with Feng Shui, I'm not super, but I have at least looked at it, and this is basically the way that they set up a home in Feng Shui, is this with these different squares in this way. So your top one here on wealth, you want to put on that square how much money you want to have, you know, and everything that you word on these vision boards needs to be in first person, present, as though you already have it. Okay, so you're going to say, I have on my vision board, what does it say? It says something like, I have 10,000 a month come to me easily. Okay, and I allow money to flow. So, you know, money is energy and money is fluid, and so allowing it to flow means it comes in and it goes out, and it comes in and it goes out. And I've had many, I guess you would call visions or dreams about that money is very much like a flowing river. You know, we don't want it to get stagnant. So there's real value in, as money comes in, allowing money to go out rather than hoarding it and saving and allowing it to just get stagnant. So on the wealth square, you're going to put, I have this amount of money, or I receive this amount of money. I have a good friend that's taken my class, who this has happened over and over and over for her. And I can't remember exactly how she worded it, but she put something about, I find money, I always find money, or something like that, and money finds me. And she just texted me again yesterday, and she said, I was going through my 2017 files, and I found several $100s in one of those files. And I said, there you go. And she's had that happen before, where I guess she used to just stash cash different places. And so she said, I found several hundred dollars in that file. So anyway, the next one is what do you want to be known as? What do you want people to know you as? Okay. I put in there that I wanted to be known as a teacher. I teach a class called Energy Mastery, so I'm an Energy Mastery instructor. I also put in that square that I'm an author, and that is something that I didn't even bring with me for this video, but I did author a book from China. It's called I Found Myself in China, and it's on Amazon, and it's about my experiences in finding out who I was while I was there. And so I actually had that on my vision board that I publish. I Found Myself in China. I probably had that on my vision board for 3 years, maybe 4, before I finally published it. And finally published it last year in 2017. So, so what you want to be known as, what do you want people to know you as? You know, how do you want people to see you? So that's what that's square for. This one here, whoops, sorry. There we go. Okay. This one here in relationships and love. This is what kind of relationships do you want to have? You know, I'm married. I have 4 children. And one of the things I actually put in that square recently, and probably in the last 6 months, is that I love and support my children in living the lives that they live. Because I found myself getting in their lane. Remember when I talked about getting in someone's lane? I found myself getting in their lane, wishing I could help them, or wishing I could change things for them, or, you know, wanting to like direct them. And I thought, Joyce, this is not your business. They're all grown-ups now. They're adults. None of your business. 3 of them are married. 1 is not, and it's like their lives. So that is, and it's helped me to put that on my vision board, because I have found myself not in their lanes, allowing them to live their lives. So, you know, if you're single and you would like to be in a relationship, you might want to put what kind of relationship you would like to have. If there's a specific person, I know one of you had asked earlier about a specific person, rather than putting a specific person you want to be married to in there, you may want to put the qualities of that person and what it is you love about that person that you want to be with. So if you're married and you want to have a better relationship, you may want to put what kind of better you want it to be. What do you want it to look like? What you want that relationship with your spouse to look like. If you want to talk to him more, you want to go on more dates with him, or you know, whatever it might be, that's where you're going to put that. Okay.
Did you say my husband?
It's okay. It's okay. I will talk to you in a minute about that. But yes, definitely write down what you want in that relationship with your husband. Okay? The next one, family, co-workers, and inner circle. Some people say, isn't that kind of the same? Well, we have extended family members. Some of us who work, we have co-workers. Some of us who are in communities. We all have communities. In fact, you might even just sit down sometime and write down the communities you have association with. You have, if you're single, you probably have a community of single people. If you're married, you probably have a group of married friends you kind of hang out with. If you're on a bowling team, you have a community there. If you're a volunteer for something, you have a community there. If you belong to a church, you have a community there. So there's a lot of communities that people belong to that they say, I don't even belong to any communities. Oh yeah, you do. You have communities. And neighborhood is a community. You know, our neighborhood twice a year has a little get together. Barbecue in the spring, and Christmas time we have a little potluck. And it's about the only time we see each other, you know. So that's a community. Okay, our neighbors are communities. So what kind of relationship do you want to have there? My vision board's on here. I can't remember everything right now, so we'll bring it up and I'll show you. But the next one is health. That's your middle square, okay? What kind of health do you want to be? In there I have what I would like to weigh. I don't put I'd like to weigh this, I put I weigh this amount, okay? And I also put in mind that I have healthy bones and joints, heart, and digestive system. And you know, getting to my age, I'm watching people who are having issues, and it's like, I don't want those, so I'm going to have healthy body, you know? So those are things, and I also put in there, I eat clean, nutritious foods. That's something I like to have in there, so. Creating and birthing new ideas. This is actually where I put on my vision board that I go to other countries to empower women. And right now, I can't remember what's on it, we'll look at it in a minute. But this is where you know, if there's something new you want to do. If you have this big idea, kind of like how I talked about earlier, things you really want to do, feel inspired to do, but you're scared to do, this is where you would put that, okay? Like, I want to start a business, or I want to go speak to people, or I want to go teach people how to be healthy, or, you know, whatever that might be. I want to go to other countries and help people, you know, whatever it is, okay? So, I was pretty excited, actually. I don't always know how well my kids listen to what I teach. And my one daughter that's still single, she actually had the opportunity to go to Puerto Rico to help just a week ago. And she responded within 30 seconds. It was one of those experiences that I went, maybe she's been listening, right? One of those things where the opportunity was presented and she said, yes, I'll go, right then. And didn't even tell me till like 2 days before she left. Oh, by the way, I'm going to Puerto Rico next week to go help build roofs. I said, cool, great, go, that's awesome. So it was one of those things where I thought, oh good, maybe something's sinking in, right? People will watch you, your families will watch you, and they will change as you change. It happens. Opportunities, develop intuition, spirituality, and knowledge. There's a lot of words in that box. So there's a lot of different things that you can take on there. You can present what's another opportunity you want to take on. What is something new you want to do? Opportunity could just even be, I want to go help my neighbor with their wedding. Or it could even be, I want to go visit this person once a month. I think in this one I have that I listen and respond boldly to things that come. Because things that come to me that I want to do, I haven't always like just said, here, this is what I do, and offer it. And so I'm responding more boldly and offering what I do. Spirituality. Is there something that you would like to increase in your spirituality? Whether that means a meditation, whether that means reading something that's uplifting, that feeds you, whether it means you associate with somebody that brings you up there, or join like a group where, oh, you know, we're all learning something around this topic. So could be anything in that area. Developing your intuition, that to me is where I respond boldly to what my gut says. Okay, and that was where I put that is when my gut inspires me to do something and say something or speak something to somebody, I respond with boldness because I listen to that intuition. So, what you do, career, hobbies, skills, type of work. One of my Chinese students was working on a new one recently. She goes, I'm updating mine. I really don't know what I do. And I said, so do you have any hobbies? Well, your Chinese students are really studious. Now most of my students, well, all of my students from 2011 are now graduated and working. And this student is a nurse. And she said, well, I just work all the time. I said, yeah, well, you need to be balanced. So what do you do for fun? I got to think about that, she says. So I ask you, what do you do for fun? You know, what is fun to you? What do you crochet? Do you knit? Do you sew? Do you cook? Do you like to hike? Do you like to be creative with your hands? Do you like to plant a garden? Whatever it is that is like a hobby that maybe you've just given up because of the whole time thing. Oh, not enough time for that. I don't have time to have fun. I don't have time for play. I don't have time to do something I really love. That's where you want to put here. Okay? And if you don't know, for any one of these squares, if you don't know, it's okay if they're not all full. It's okay that they're not all full. It's okay if you just, the first time I put my vision board up, I had 3 things. Okay? I think in the middle square I had what I wanted to weigh. I put that I go to other countries, empower women, and I put in a Vitamix. First time I put up my vision board, I had 3 things. I had no idea what else to put in there. Okay? It just grew on me. So I will send and attach a copy of this vision board and vision board instructions, so you'll have that. But the next one is who's going to help you and who are you going to help next or travel. Now this goes into when I talked about you're here to serve somebody. It may be one person, it may be 10, it may be thousands, okay? Maybe it's in creating, birthing out new ideas. And one of these I create a podcast that influences thousands or something, you know. I do have something that I started and I have not done much with it. It's called Miracle Whisper. And it's actually where I interview people and get their miracle stories. And I have probably 6 stories on there that you can actually go to. It's just miraclewhisper.com. But I haven't really done much with it, but I got inspired to do it one day and said, okay, let's do this, let's get it up, and let's put some interviews on it. And so I will do more. And that's another place where I feel like it can be an inspiration and help other people. People love to hear miracle stories. So, or where do you want to travel to? This is where in this square I have a week vacation with my husband. I could not decide where I wanted to go with him. Every time I started thinking about where to go, I just couldn't decide. So finally I just put up there, I take a week vacation with him. Because I wanted to take a week vacation, I just didn't know where. So then when time came up, we actually took a week vacation to Canada. It was beautiful. So I have friends from Ghana, a woman that builds wells in Ghana, and her name is Patience. And so I actually have in this square also that I go to Ghana with Patience and build wells. And that's been there for probably 3 years. So, you know, dreams don't have deadlines. That's what I always tell people. They don't have deadlines. You can keep dreaming. You can keep accessing those dreams. And honestly, one of the best ways to do it is through vision boards. So this is actually the instructions that I was talking about. Put your vision board somewhere where you're going to see it. Don't hide it behind a door. You know, not everybody has a big space on their wall. Now, my Chinese students lived in a very small dorm with about 8 girls, bunk beds. So they had just a sheet of paper. And so they just broke it into 9 squares on that sheet of paper, okay? I had another woman who called me, and actually she took my vision board class, and the night when she was working on her vision board, she was crying saying, I cannot even write these words. I said, what are the words you want to write? She goes, I'm afraid to even speak them. I said, well, come on, I'm going to stand over you, I'm going to touch your shoulders, and I'm just going to say, you can do this. And so she cried and she wrote down, I work in Yellowstone. And she was probably in her 60s. Her husband had passed away. Her kids were all grown. And she said, all my life I wanted to work in Yellowstone. I just thought it would be really fun. And I said, well, that's kind of a no-brainer. I bet you could get a job in Yellowstone, no problem. You know, she goes, it scares the heck out of me, you know. And so she wrote it down. And I would say it was about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks later. She called me on the phone crying. She goes, Joyce, you're not going to believe this. I said, what? She goes, I got a job in Yellowstone for the summer. I'm leaving in a week. And I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, what do you mean you don't know what you're going to do? She goes, because it happened. It happened. It's really good happening. And then I said, okay. And I was just praising her. And she goes, stop. I have more. And so she was naming 3 other things that were on her vision board. And then this happened. And then this happened. She goes, this is just crazy. I said, I know, it's pretty exciting, isn't it? She goes, it's really exciting. So then she said, well, how do I travel with a vision board? I said, you could either put it on a piece of paper or you could put it on a poster board. Whichever you want, because she said I'll be living in like a bunk room with other people. So anyway, that was the beginning of her vision board experience. It was pretty powerful. But just so that it's not hidden, you don't want it hidden and behind stuff. You want it out in the open. Mine is large. It's probably as big as this whiteboard over here. And it's on a blank spot on my wall where there's no doors or anything hiding it. My husband's is on another wall. My son, who's very decorative savvy, I guess you should say, says, it's kind of tacky that you got this blue tape on your walls, Mom. I said, I don't care. It's my vision board. It's my bedroom. So, but the biggest thing is that you don't want it hiding. You want to be able to see it out and open. The other one is you just make a large square on your wall with blue tape, blue or green tape. This is painter's tape. The reason I say that is because it doesn't take the paint off the walls. So you just create a great big square on your wall, and I'll show you a picture of mine in a second. And use blue or green tape because then it doesn't take the paint off, okay? And you write down 1 vision per card. You get yourself a package of 3x5 cards, and you write 1 down on each card. So you don't have a bunch of them on 1 card. You can put more than 1 in a square. If you've got, say, like I have a couple of things on wealth, a couple things on health. I probably have 2 or 3 cards in each of my squares. It's that big that I can do that, okay? But each dream is actually written on a separate card, okay? And then the next one is you want to write it in first person present as though you already have it. In mine, it said, I go to other countries to empower women, take a stand and have a voice. I have a week vacation with Steve. I own a Vitamix. I have $10,000 a month come to me freely. I allow money to flow. So those are the words, using it first person present as though it already happened. I had a lady when I taught this class to somebody in northern Arizona. She called me like a week after I taught the class. And she said, you know, I took this home, I put it up, and my husband said, you don't have those things. Why are you saying that? That's a lie. You don't have that stuff. She goes, well, I'm going to get that stuff, so just be quiet. And so one of the things she had on her board is, I own a sewing machine. And he says, you don't own a sewing machine, and we don't have money for a sewing machine. And she goes, that's okay. I'm going to own one. And like a week later, she said she was driving down the street in this little small town, and she said she felt really drawn to stop at this secondhand store. And she said, I had no idea why. I wasn't looking for anything. She said, I walked in, and right there on the shelf, right by the cashier, was a Bernina sewing machine. And that's a pretty good brand sewing machine, right? She looked at the lady, she goes, how much is this? She said, oh, $20. She goes, I'm buying this. I'm buying this. She said, I didn't ask my husband. I bought the sewing machine, I brought it home, and it works beautifully. And my husband said, where did you get that? She said, I bought it at the thrift store for $20. He goes, you did not. She goes, I did. She goes, and I now own a sewing machine. And so she goes, I can take this off my board. So those kind of things just happen that we don't know how that's going to happen. For her, she said, I didn't know why I was drawn to stop at that thrift store. She said, but I was. I just pulled in and walked in, and there it was right there. They had just put it out, I think, on the shelf. So those are the kind of things that, okay, we say things on these vision boards. We want them somewhat believable, you know. But you also want to say things that are like not within how you know they're going to work. Not so you can fit it in this box. It needs to be something out of like how you can really make it fit. I've had 6 students come to the United States from China to go to graduate school. Every single one of them put it on their vision board that they would come to graduate school in America, and had no idea how that was going to happen. Every one of them. Had a student that came last summer who always wanted to just come to visit. She works in Shanghai. She says, I've always wanted to come to visit in America, but I didn't know how that was going to happen. And literally, she got nominated by some organization to go with a group of people to tour the United States. And she got to go to like New York and Las Vegas and Los Angeles. She actually made a quick little trip to Phoenix to see us. And I can't remember the other place, Grand Canyon, stuff like that. It was completely paid for. Like they gave her spending money, like the whole trip was paid for. How on earth did that happen? Who knows? Miracles, miracles, So for her, she just said once again, Joyce, it is just really a miracle. All these things just happen because they're miracles. And I said, exactly. And they're miracles because you're waiting for them to happen. Okay? You're not making and planning them, saying this is how it's got to look. She did not know how it was going to happen. If she'd planned the way it would look, it probably would have been paid by her savings or her parents or something. So anyway, the other thing that's, don't make it a secret. Don't make your vision board a secret. Share what's on your vision board. It's not something to be hidden. People are out looking for people to help. There literally are people looking for people to help. The man that supported my student in her last year of college and then gave her an internship in California, he wanted to help. He was there to help. People have there are a lot of people in this world with money, and they literally are looking for ways to spend it. There are people who make a lot of money and they don't know what to do with it, so they're looking for people to help with that money. And so if you've got some really great idea, there's people out there looking to help support you in that. So, but you can't find that or have that until you actually put it out there. If you keep it all hidden in here and it's not out there, then nobody will know. So we got a new bed mattress, and the guy that delivered our mattress came in my room and said, oh, what is this on your wall? Is this your dreams or something? I said, yeah. He goes, I like this. I think I want to do this. So it was just kind of cute, this guy, the delivery boy. But he was excited about it. And then about a month later, we bought another mattress for another bedroom, and he delivered, and he goes, I remember you guys. I have some dreams on my wall. And so I thought that was kind of fun. The other thing I do is every day I stand in front of my board, arms open like this, and I say out loud everything that's on that board. I just stand in front of the board and just say it out loud. It takes, maybe 10, 30 seconds, a minute. I just speak it out loud. And usually when I'm finished, I go, thank you, and walk away and go through my rest of my day, okay? So by speaking it, looking at it, once again, it's speaking those words, and it's seeing it and acknowledging it, okay? The next one is to be accepting and be grateful. And that's why I say when I finish reading it, I always say thank you. And then when you start taking things off your board, you'll want to create a notebook to put those things in. It's just a 3-ring binder. I could probably get something prettier, but this was my first thing I ever got, and I just put the little sleeves in it, and that's my first one. I go to other countries to empower women to take a stand for themselves and have a voice. That was the first thing I took off my board. No, actually it wasn't. The Vitamix. I own a Vitamix. That was the first thing I took off my board. So it's kind of fun to look at the things that get to come off your board. I have probably 3 things that I don't even have in here that I took off my board this year. One of them was I travel China with my student and her mother. I got to do that in May. The other one was I take a week vacation with Steve, and I speak at the Women's Symposium in China in May. So I got those 3 things I still need to take off my board that I haven't put in here yet. So, but when you take this card off your board, you take it off, and you just go, thank you. Thank you. And then just put it in your book, okay? So I love, this was the symposium that I went back for that following spring in 2012. I returned to China May of 2012 for symposium. I go to the Philippines with my daughter. I had a daughter who was a missionary in the Philippines, and so a year after she got home, I went back with her and was able to serve some women there. And one of the cool experiences that happened there was one of the women that she met while she was there was a mother of 2 boys, divorced, and very, very poor, and literally lived in a makeshift kind of house. And then the big storm hit, Yolanda, and we went in after the storm so we could try and go help over there. And one of the things that happened during that storm is the one way that this woman was able to feed her children is that she made these steamed buns every day. And so she had a pot with these little tiny cups that she put in the pot, and she'd build a fire and she'd steam those buns, and she'd make 40 at a time, and then she'd sell them on the street. And so when that storm hit, it washed away her pot, everything, and so she had nothing and no way to support herself. So she said literally when the storm hit, as soon as the water went down, she and her boys were just swimming through the mud, trying to find all her cups and her pan and everything, and she was able to find most of it. And so when we got there to her, she also, there were organizations that were helping, and an organization helped build like 10-foot square boxes of wood on stilts for the people. And so she got one of those, which was the nicest home she'd ever had. And so when we went in there to visit with her, all they had on the floor was 2 little grass mats and then 2 little hooks with her boys' backpacks on it, you know, and then her little pot with the little cups. And she had a little sticky note on the wall that said, "I sell 200 buns a day." And I said, "Is this your vision board?" She goes, "Yes, it is." And I said, "Do you sell 200 a day?" She goes, "I do." And I was moved by that. And then I said to my daughter, "We got to get her some better equipment." You know? So we went and got her like a little gas stove with a tank of gas and another pot, because every morning she wakes up at 4 and gathers wood, builds a fire, steams her buns, and then goes out and sells them. She's actually doing so much better now because somebody who bought buns from her, once again, people who want to help, liked what she offered and said, "I'm going to build you a little cart so you can go out on the street rather than just staying back here in this little community. I want you to be able to go out in the street and sell these." And then she actually even got some like catering jobs where she was helping cater. So, people want to help. When they find out what you're doing and what you want to do, people do want to help. And so she's had people who've wanted to help her. In fact, another organization went over and actually built a bath, like a shower and a toilet in her little 10-foot square. So it's pretty cool to see what can happen. So this is actually my vision board. So you can see the blue tape on the wall. This is my current one, working on publishing my next book called China Soul, which is the stories of the people I met in China, which I love. I love the people, and I have some great stories. And so that's what I'm working on currently. But you can tell it's not real even. Like I say, I do things fast. I don't want this to take a lot of time. And I just quickly threw up my tape, and you just kind of like put it on the wall and just put it up there, you know. My husband, his is all measured and really perfect because that's how he is, you know. Mine is not. I just want to get it up there. And then you just roll the back of the tape and just slap your little card on your wall. And you're done. It's done. You haven't had to spend a whole lot of time cutting out pictures. Now, if you want to put some pictures on, you can, okay? The main thing is don't have them overlapping. Don't have the pictures or the cards overlapping, okay? The mind needs to see a delineation, okay? It just is easier on the brain. So that's a big thing. This next one this is where I talk about people who want to help, okay? In this little triangle, you got you down here, and yet you got you asking for higher power, somebody to help out here, right? Sometimes he answers, and you don't always hear, and you're not always open to hearing, okay? We got other people who are asking, and he's sending those other people over to you, okay? Other people, they represent resources, money, help, okay? So if there's something you want, that's why I say don't hesitate to share people stuff that's on your vision board, because people are looking for ways to help. They're looking. So be open to that, and be open to someone who's looking to help. So The next one is what I asked you earlier. Think of 3 things that scare you that you really want to do, or afraid to do, or even afraid to say, and write those down, because those are things that probably need to be on your vision board. Okay? So, and then just do it. A couple of these slides I just wanted to share. This was my first year in China when some of my students had a little party. It was fun. They said, will you teach us to dance? Because they didn't know how to dance. So luckily I had some Beatles tunes in my phone. So we danced to some Beatles music and had a lot of fun. So this is Celia with her new car in Florida. This is a picture she sent me. This little student on the right, you can see how tall I am next to them. Jennifer's a nurse. She's very short. In China, it's interesting, but they gauge your height. They say if you want to be a nurse, you have to be tall. Short girls cannot be a nurse. So she still decided to be a nurse and go to nursing school. And then when she graduated, she said, I don't think I'm going to get a job because nobody will hire me because I'm short. I said, well, what do you have on your vision board? She says, I have my vision board that I work in a hospital as a nurse. I said, okay. And I don't know, 3 months after she graduated, she sent me a message saying, I'm working in a hospital as a nurse. So, which was really cool. And then this is Susanna. She's the one that got to come here last summer on that scholarship program that, you know, who knew how that would work. This was at the Women's Symposium. This is Grace. Grace is the one I traveled with last May, this recently, with her mother. And then Monday is also one of the students who's had great dreams happen for her in traveling. She's now running a traveling program in China. So if any of you are interested, I can hook you up because she's a great translator and she knows a lot of places. So she's really awesome. So, and then over here, this is Gloria. She was one of my first, these were some of my first year students. And Gloria just finished her master's at Thunderbird in Phoenix in December. So another one of those wild stories, you know, parents who, how are you going to do this? She even came here not knowing how she was going to pay for her school. She brought some things to sell, you know, while she was here, and she thought, I'll just look for some kind of work. And she ended up being a tutor and translator, and, you know, she found ways, and then there was people who helped. So it was pretty cool. So that, for me, has been wonderful to watch those students and things happen for them, as well as people here in the United States. Miraculous stories, just miraculous. So the next step just is to always show appreciation. You know, the appreciation, it bridges that gap. You know, thank the people who are helping you, thank your higher power for who you are, where you are, what you want to be. Appreciation's huge. So there's a little formula here called AID for appreciation. And and you can write these out every morning. Every morning, this is a fun little exercise to do, is you write down, I appreciate, today I appreciate this, okay? And the next one is, today I am committed to being, okay? Not doing or saying, but I'm committed to being this. It could even be, I'm committed to being grateful today, you know? And then the next one is delegating, and I thank God or higher power in advance for assisting me with whatever it is. Okay, so this is just another tool of expressing appreciation that I've used. It's a nice way to begin a day. Takes just a couple minutes. You know, I'm all about the 2-minute things, right? The 2-minute meditation, the 2-minute, you know, it takes about 12 minutes to write 3 pages. If you're writing fast, if you're dumping, okay? So I've kind of timed things. Okay, I can do this because I know how long it takes. That's why I like about time chunking. Because I know how long that takes, so I know I can do that. And I can allow myself that time. If it means you have to start waking up earlier, I've never been an early person. I'm a night person, but I've become an early person and a night person. I still stay up late, but my body seems to want to wake up earlier, and I think it's because it's got things it wants to do. So it's not something I ever thought I would say, but it's happened. So, and when I say earlier, for me, it's 6:30. I've never been a 5:30 person. That may happen, who knows? So anyway, so that's the vision board, and all I can say is don't not do this. People have seen me a year after they've taken my class and said, oh yeah, vision board lady, I still haven't done that. And I go, don't tell me that. I'm sorry for you. I used to say, not my problem, but you know what? It is. And the reason why is because what you do is going to affect me. Everything on my vision board affects other people. Everything that I've done on my vision board has affected somebody else. Whether it be the Chinese students, my husband, my children, people in my communities. Everything I have had on my vision board has actually had an impact on others. So it does impact me if you don't do a vision board. I mean, I'm not counting on whatever you're doing, but I'm just saying it's impactful. It makes that big of an impact on other people's lives as well as your own. So make sure you do a vision board. Make sure you put it up. It doesn't take much. Just get yourself some blue tape and some 3x5 cards and you'll have it up in 10 minutes. If you can't think of 9 things to put in those squares, it's okay. Put up 1, put up 3, whatever you have, okay? Just so it's started. And then things will start coming to you, okay? So with that, I just want to express appreciation for letting me be here. And thank you for those who came. And thank you to all my helpers who helped us. And you can email me or contact me if you've got questions. And thank you and blessings to all of you to do this.